Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Erin and today is Friday, which means it is Book Review Friday once again, and we have an exciting book to talk about today. We're talking about Nightmare by Chad Nicholas, and this book was sent to me by the author for an honest review. I just like to tell you guys that, just so you know. Just because I was sent this book doesn't mean that I'm not going to give you guys my 100% honest review. I keep it really honest on this channel. You guys know that. I will tell you if I don't like a book, and I do tell you when I really like a book, so don't be worried that I will be swayed because I was given this book. So just want to let you guys know that. This book is currently not out yet. It will be out in October. Chad let me know that they are doing a pre-order sale on the ebook version. So starting today, this Friday, until October 6th, the release date, you'll be able to get $2 off the ebook version. So there you go. If you really like ebooks and you do want to check out this book, you can save some money, and that would be really nice. I'll have links down in the description box for the ebook version and for the paperback. This book is not released yet, but you know, just in case you want to save it and then you can come back when it's out. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the cover. You know, I love talking about covers. This is just a thing I like to do on this channel. It's fun. I like covers of books. So I'm going to show you the best I can. You know, my ring light doesn't like shiny covers, but we have this lovely scary crow. We got some shattering back here, and then it's just a nice white, black, and red color scheme, and I actually really like this cover. I like the simplicity of the cover, but I think it really makes sense to the book. You will understand the crows, you will understand the little shatterings back here, you understand all of that. And then you have this little creepy scarecrow guy on the back of the book, which I think he is just, look at him. Look at him! He's so scary. I always had a thing about scarecrows though, I'm not gonna lie. I think it was a Goosebumps book that made me hate scarecrows. So the scarecrow walks at midnight? Is that what it's called? I don't know. I hate scarecrows. They freak me out. So every time I see a scarecrow, all I think about is Goosebumps. So yes, there is a scarecrow in this book, and yes, it did scare me. So, okay, enough jibber jabbering. We're gonna get into the synopsis, and then I will tell you guys my thoughts. It's a typical day for Scott and his family. Scott wakes up from a nightmare, the same nightmare that he always has. He checks on his oldest daughter, April, making sure that she's up and getting ready for school. He knocks on her bedroom door, where she unlocks several locks before opening, and you also see that she has bars on her window. After telling her to go wake up her siblings, Tommy and May, he heads downstairs where his wife, Karen, is. Their conversation is very short and very cold. You can sense that there is a lot of tension in this relationship. At 6:17 a.m., it's time for the kids to get on the school bus, and this is where you can tell the family is going through something. While Scott watches the kids get on the bus, he's terrified. He's worried. He's anxious. He's holding his breath, making sure that they make it safely from the front door to the bus. After they safely make it on the bus, Scott leaves to go to his therapy appointment, and then he heads to work. He stays at work very late and ends up heading back home at around 11 p.m. This is when he gets into a very bad car accident and wakes up the next morning in the hospital with very minor injuries. When he comes home, everything returns to normal, but not really. Everything's just slightly different. Everyone's acting just slightly different. Eventually, in the book, you learn that at 8 years of age, Scott was kidnapped and tortured and beaten for 73 days. He has severe trauma because of this, hence the nightmares and some other things that you will learn when you read the book. Okay, that is all I'm going to tell you. That is the synopsis that I'm going to give you. I know it isn't a lot. I'm aware, believe me, I'm aware. But I know you guys hate when I say this. It's just a book you have to read for yourself. It's just a book you have to read for yourself. It is so crazy. So crazy. So let me get into my thoughts. I will tell you guys my overall opinions and what I thought of the book. So when I read the description of this book on Goodreads and on the back of the book, it really gives you nothing. It's not a lot to go on. You don't have a clear picture. It does not really make any sense, and I went in blindly reading this book. However, I think that really worked in this book's favor. When I'm not sure what a book is about, when the plot description isn't very descriptive, it's more vague, I go in blindly and it's very easy for the book to throw me off. And I do like being surprised. I love being surprised in horror. I think that is the best thing an author can do. I do think there are instances where it works and where it doesn't work. And sometimes when it doesn't work, it makes the book harder to read. Luckily, this book throws you in a good way. It's not what you expect, but I appreciated that, and I actually liked that this book threw me for a loop. I think Chad did a really nice job of making the idea of this book very vague because the plot is interesting. And I think being thrown when you begin it and until you really finish it, I think the aspect of being thrown the whole time is very good. If that makes any sense. I hope that makes somewhat of sense. I'm trying not to tell you why it's throwing me for a loop, but I want you guys to have a clear sense of that I think it worked very nicely in this specific book. When I first started this book, I was immediately hooked because this book gives you bits and pieces the entire way and doesn't give you anything else. I mean, the very first chapter, you learn that April has locks on her bedroom door and bars on her window. Why? That's really weird. I mean, it is, but no one talks about it. So you as the reader see that she has locks on her door and bars on her window, but that's all you know. It's just something happened and now she's doing this kind of thing. It doesn't tell you why until much later, and that drove me insane. I mean, the bus stop scene is also very strange. Scott's reaction is very intense and it's just intense. It's a very intense reaction for something so minor. I mean, kids getting on a bus, it's a typical thing that families have happen. Kids ride the bus. It's not anything, you know, crazy. So you know that April has locks on her bedroom door and bars on her window, and that the family is going through something interesting. You don't know what, and it just doesn't tell you anything. There's no explanation, at least not at first. You have to keep reading to get that explanation. It drives me insane because it seemed like such a big thing that I wasn't being told, and that made me crazy. I needed to know what was happening. It was driving me insane little by little. I needed to know what was going on with this family. This book does that the whole time though. One chapter, it'll tell you a little piece of information, so you'll feel like you're getting somewhere. You're finally figuring something out, and then it abruptly kind of just is like, no, I'm not going to finish telling you. So then you have to wait even longer for the completion of this explanation, and it's so crazy because it only gives you bits and pieces, and you can't figure everything out at first. You really can't. I mean, maybe other people could. I couldn't figure anything out. I was very lost most of the time. I did figure out one thing before it was mentioned, and that's just because I'm familiar with this topic. So I did sense that it was going in this direction, but otherwise I was thrown pretty much the entire book. So it's a good tactic though to mention something and not build upon it, and then build upon it way later, because it makes you keep reading. Some people don't like that tactic because it can make you frustrated. It can make the book feel longer, I guess. I didn't feel like that. I personally liked the tactic of drawing me in and then pulling away all my sense of knowing anything. It made me feel confused, and I liked that. It made me want to keep reading. It made me want to uncover all the secrets. Why was the family acting weird? You know, the kidnapping is a crazy addition. I did not see that coming in the slightest. When it talks about the kidnapping, I was just floored that that was involved. But it does make so much sense why the kidnapping is involved, so it's very smart. The crows are terrifying. I will never look at a crow the same way again. To be honest, I never really liked crows in general. I think they're freaky. They're not my favorite kind of bird. So the fact that they are very creepy in this book makes me not want to encounter a crow ever again in my life. Also, scarecrows. Don't like scarecrows. Like I said in the beginning, Goosebumps kind of did that for me in the beginning. I never liked scarecrows because of Goosebumps, so the fact that scarecrows are in here, no thank you. Not a fan of them. I think they're creepy. I don't like scarecrows. So the crows and the scarecrow in here are just, they're good additions because they're creepy, but honestly, I will never think of them in any other way now. So Scott, the main character. Scott is an interesting character. I found myself really liking him in the beginning of the book, and I felt myself, you know, liking him, relating to him, trying to root for him. And then as the book goes on, I realized I don't like him. So the main character is probably my least favorite character. His character development is so crazy because I just never saw it coming. I think it's interesting when the author makes a character a certain way and I end up disliking the main character, because I always wonder if that was on purpose or if my feelings are getting too involved and I'm feeling personally attacked by the main character, so therefore I dislike them. Now, I don't feel like Scott personally attacked me in any way, but his personality, I just didn't like. I feel like if you read the book, you'll probably have a different opinion on Scott. I'm not sure what other people are going to feel about Scott. I personally just didn't like him. I think he was annoying. There are some things he did that irritated me. Because I just don't understand his thought process, but that's just because I'm not Scott. I am me. And I didn't go through the situations that he was going through, so I can't really understand how he felt. I just don't think I would have done the things that he did. And the things that he did really bothered me. To be fair, I told my boyfriend about this book and I was explaining the plot to him and telling him about things, and he didn't like Scott either. He didn't like Scott either, especially because of one thing that we both didn't like Scott for. And I find that interesting, and I don't know if it's because I was emotionally telling him what Scott did and so he also got irritated about Scott, but yeah. So he also didn't like Scott, in case anyone cares. There is also a big focus on mental illness in this book, and I was very wary when I was reading the parts that involved the mental illness, because I'm not a huge fan most of the time, because I feel like it can be done very poorly, especially with the mental illness that is mentioned in this book. it's a very difficult one to talk about if you do not have this mental illness. So I was a little bit worried that it was going to go down a path I didn't quite like, but I ended up actually liking the component of the mental illness in it. I think it worked nicely, and I don't think it was done the way I was expecting it to be done, so I appreciated that. I do not have this mental illness that is in the book, so I cannot say if it is fully accurate because I'm not aware of what it's like to have that mental illness. But from a standpoint of someone who is aware of that kind of mental illness, I think it was done in a better way than I expected it to be done. So the ending is so crazy, 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 crazy. I did not expect it in the slightest, and I loved it. The plot twist was insane. It was crazy. It blew me away. When I read it, I was just like, I just laughed because I was so surprised, but in the best way possible. I'm so happy about the way it ended because I think it ended the way it should have ended. That's how I would have ended it if I had thought about it. I think this book ending is exactly the way I would have wanted it to end, and I was very, very happy with the ending. Overall, super impressed with this book, super impressed with the plot, the writing. I really, really liked it. Oh, one more thing I forgot to talk about. I'm so mad I'm doing this right now, but I mean, look at the detail on this book. Look at how cool this is. It's on every page. It is so beautiful. I love the detail on the inside of this book. So amazing, so cool. It adds so much. When I was reading it, I was just like, ooh, pretty. I loved it. Sorry, I just didn't want to forget that detail. I really, really liked the detail on the pages. I thought it was really, really cool looking. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. I really had a lot of fun reading it. I enjoyed it so much, and I look forward to more from Chad Nicholas. I think this was a great book, and I highly recommend it. If it sounds like something that you would like to pick up, I highly recommend checking it out. I will leave the links in the description box like always. Thank you again to Chad Nicholas for sending me this book my way. I really, really enjoyed it. It's really good. I look forward to more from you in the future. If this is any indication of stuff that you will write later on, then count me in. I'm ready to read more. So, okay, I've been talking for way too long. I feel like this video is super long, so I'm really sorry, but I just had a lot to say, and I really wanted you guys to know my full, honest thoughts. So, there you go. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of content you enjoy from me. That way I can keep providing you with that kind of content. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We can become friends and talk about books, horror, makeup, all kinds of things. I do a lot on this channel, so hopefully there's something for everyone. And with that being said, I will see you guys on Monday. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye!